Hi there, welcome back to Colour With Me. Don't forget to download and print the picture from the comments below so that you can join in and colour along. Today we'll be working on the Viking bear using black ballpoint pen and coloured pencils to add detail and shading to the picture. The video will be broken down into easy to follow steps with opportunities to pause before moving on to the next section. Step 1. Using a black ballpoint pen, I'm going to add fur details to the bear's face, ears, hands and legs. To do this, I'm just going to scribble in these areas. Take care to stay inside the lines when you do this. Step 2. Still using the ballpoint pen, I'm going to fill in the grass in the background using small vertical or up and down lines. Try to make the lines smaller in the distance near the mountains and slightly larger nearer the bear in the foreground. Step 3. Now to add some extra ripples to the water. At the water's edge, try to follow the same line and curve your ripple around the same direction as the shoreline. As you get nearer the ship in the middle of the lake, the ripples can be made horizontally from side to side across the page. Step 4. Today I'm going to be using coloured pencils. For the bear's fur and beard I'm going to be using 3 shades of brown. I'll be using the medium shade of brown for his face, ears, hands and legs and the light brown for his beard. Once I've completed these, I'll use the dark brown for shading, which we'll cover in the next step. Once you've coloured the face, use the ballpoint pen to go over the eyes and eyebrows. Step 5. I'll now use the dark brown pencil I mentioned earlier to add shading to the face, beard and hands. To do this, imagine the sun is shining down from the top right hand corner of the picture so that the shadows would fall on the left hand side of the bear and underneath his helmet, beard and mallet. Take your time and follow the lines of the picture to guide you. Bring the shadows in about ½ centimetre or ¼ of an inch. You don't want to bring them too far across the face, just around the edges. If you're unsure of what to do, watch until I've completed this step before you start. For the nose, I'll use light and dark grey. Colour the whole nose light grey and use the dark grey to add shading around the left hand side, just like we did with the face. Step 6. For the tunic, I'll be using purple and adding red to the triangular pattern at the bottom. For the armour, boots, belt and helmet, I'll be using a dark brown, as they would have been made from leather and not steel, and a yellow for the studs, buckle and horns. Sometimes it's a good idea to put a mark of the colour you're going to use in the section you want to use it. This is helpful so that you don't forget what you'd planned whilst you're colouring the other sections. Step 7. I'm going to make the steel of the mallet and sword a mid-grey colour, then using yellow to fill in the criss-cross pattern on the mallet and the hilt of the sword. Step 8. With a black pencil, I'm now going to add the shadows to the rest of the bear, working them in on the left hand side and underneath things like the armour, mallet, belt and tunic. Just like the face, don't make the shadows too wide, it's just to give a hint of shape and make your Viking seem a little less flat. If you're unsure of where to add the shadows, watch until the end of this section and pause so that you can see what to do. Step 9. Moving on to the background, this step is going to be broken down into smaller parts for each aspect of the background, so don't forget to pause and listen before moving on. I'll be starting with a light blue for the sky. For the mountains, I have a light and dark grey and a pale khaki green. 3 colours or shades will be best for this, as I can make sure that none of the mountains that are next to each other are the same colour. This will give your picture a bit more depth and interest. Using the black pencil, I'll be adding some shadows to the mountains. Again, like we did with the bear, the shadows will be down the left hand side. As mountains are rugged, you really don't need to be as neat when doing this. Also, add a scribble of shadow under each tree and add texture by adding zigzags or rugged lines to the mountains for more depth and detail. Now for the grass. As it covers quite a significant part of the background, I'll be using a mid-green. You don't want it to be too dark, as we'll be adding some shadows in the next stage. This time I'll be using a dark green to go around the water's edge, the bottom of the mountain, under the hut and the bear. I'll also use it to colour the larger tufts of grass. When adding shadow under the bear, draw a straight line of dark green about halfway up his foot on the ground and use that as the back of the shadow. Then bring it forward to the edge of the picture and add more to the left than on the right. Now for the water. I'll be using 4 varying shades of blue from dark to light. Starting at the edge of the water, I'll be using the lightest blue where the water would be the shallowest, then moving into the lake using the darker shades as we go until we get to the middle where we'll use the darkest blue. You can use the edge ripples as a guide for this, changing the shade darker for each ripple. Now, using the dark blue pencil, I'll go around the edges of the mountain and underneath the ship. As it's pencil, if you press a little harder to get a darker shade for these bits. Step 10. The final part of our picture today will be the Viking ship Hut and Trees. The ship will have a red and white striped sail and red flag, while the hull will be a dark brown. The hut will also be a dark brown with a lighter shade for the thatched roof, and the trees will be a khaki green. This time we'll be using a dark grey pencil to add a little shading to the left hand side of the ship, sail and hut. So that's the end of another colour with me. Thank you for watching and joining in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon for another colour with me.